Good morning, guys. Here's this absolutely beautiful Seth Thomas Roxbury. After cleaning, this thing turned out very nice. It was nice looking before. The power of a little bit of love in Old English. This clock dates from February of 1942, and while it does run, the movement really needs a lot of love, so I really don't want to run it in this condition just to make it worse. And this is a Westminster chimer, and in 1940, in 1940, this one's from 42, like I said, the price was $37.50. And in today's money, that's around $810 to $825. So you figure this thing was not cheap. And I can see why. Solid. And I'll open the bezel here where you can see the dial. Beautiful dial, but don't ever try to clean these by yourself. You'll take the silvering off. So just let someone else do it. And there, I got it to close. And now I'll come around to the back, which I haven't cleaned the back yet. Forgot about that. Alright, come around to the back. And here's the movement, your typical Seth Thomas electromechanical hybrid. And I'll show you the chimes. I'll have to go get my little flathead screwdriver to do that. As you can tell, I'm not the best at planning ahead for these things. But the chimes sound wonderful, of course. Let me turn it where I can get to them straight, instead of making it harder on myself. And here we go. Okay, and here's somebody's job of rewiring this thing, putting a new cord on it. And at least they soldered one part of it on, and door, please stay out of the way. And let me lift up the hammers if that'll help any, which it doesn't. Let's see if I can get that in focus. That's gonna be hard to do. See if I can't come up. There we go. And then, as you can see, it's pretty dirty. And whatever that green stuff is, I'll have to take that off eventually and either replace this cord or cut those off and put on some correct terminals for it. But at least the motor wires are intact. They sometimes can break off. And this uses the extremely reliable Sangamo motor, which was made till the late 40s. The latest clock I've seen with it is 1949. And this one dates from February of 1942. And to explain this reverse dating here, it can confuse people. It's February of, it looks like 1924 because it's backwards, but it's actually 1942. So that's the best I can explain that. And then there's all the instructions, and thankfully this came with the original winding key, which I'll be glad to show that to you in case you ever have to get one for one of these and you don't know what they look like. It came in a little bag. The seller did an absolute wonderful job of packing this. And yeah, one of the chime rods was bent, but he still did a wonderful job. It could have been that way from the get-go. Let's see if I can open this bag. Set my phone down for a second. Sorry about that. Here's the winding key. And in case any of you don't know how you wind this thing when you first get going, on the end of this gear in the middle, there's a little winding shaft on the end of it. And this hole right there. You put that through. Sorry, I missed it. And then you go on to the end of that shaft, and that's how you wind that spring. And the other one is more straightforward. You just put it on the end of that shaft to wind it. The left one is the chime, the right one is the strike. And after you wind it the first time, the motor keeps those mainsprings rewound. For whatever reason, this one, it's really stiff. But at least it winds. The other one isn't that stiff. I don't know what's going on with that spring. But the chime on this, it doesn't like to shut off. And the strike is really gummed up, so it doesn't work that good. And to give you a little history on this clock, the earliest date I've been able to find it is in the early 1930s. And that was from a catalog. But according to my research, well, actually, never mind that. So they made this one. I don't know exactly how long they made this one, to tell you the truth. But beautiful clock nonetheless. And the chime rods are your Seth Thomas rods, which I don't have anything wrong with those. They sound beautiful too. And apparently, according to someone that knows about these, they apparently offered the bugle chime in this clock, not this late. The bugle chime was only made in 1926 and 27. So that gives you a roundabout estimate of how long they made this clock. So it was apparently popular, and I can see why. It's absolutely gorgeous. But I love talking about these old dames. They deserve to live. And this one was mighty dirty. Still is dirty on the back. I haven't cleaned it yet, like I said. And then I'll come back around to the front and give you another view of the front. I just set my phone down to turn it. And sorry about that. The chime rods like to rattle on this thing. That's not right. And then here's another view of the front. Beautiful. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you enjoy.